Hey there, welcome to the last video of lesson 1, where we have learned so much about the banking basics. In this lesson, we learned about how to open a checking and savings account, the difference between the two. We learned about the difference between credit unions and banks. We learned about credit cards, checks, debit cards, loans, CDs, and even the pros and cons of online-only banks. Woo! So now let's talk about how to protect yourself, because once you're out there making money and making really good decisions, there's always going to be that one person watching from afar waiting for you to slip and either steal your identity or your banking information, so they can either buy stuff with your money or file taxes under your name and get your refund. Both things have actually happened to me, unfortunately, so I've learned to take important measures to make sure this doesn't happen again. And to share a little more experience from behind the counter, we have with us here one more time someone who actually works at a credit union, Mrs. Judy Grinder. Hey Judy, how are you? Welcome back.
I'm doing really good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you so much for being here again. So let's dive right in. Tell us, what is the number one preventable mistake you see people make that gets them into trouble, like in terms of becoming victims of fraud?
Unfortunately, I see a lot of online banking tools being used for fraud. And what that means is that if you are logging into your online banking and doing things with that, sometimes fraudsters can convince you to do things that you shouldn't be doing. And honestly, the biggest thing that you can do to protect yourself against that is to make sure that you never, ever, ever give out your logins for your online banking. Because as long as nobody else has your online banking logins, they shouldn't be able to use it for bad uses.
So is there anyone in particular that you recommend that we give our banking information to, like our parents or friends or something like that, or no one, like ever?
Absolutely not. No one. It doesn't matter how much you trust them or how they're related to you. If you give out your online banking information and it's used for bad things, you don't have the ability to recover things necessarily. So it's just not worth the risk. Just don't give it out, period.
Awesome. Thank you. In general, what would you say are other good practices in order to protect ourselves from becoming victims of fraud? Like whether it be taxes, because I know that some people steal identities for tax purposes, or someone using your account without your permission. What would you recommend?
One of the best things to do to protect yourself against fraud is to make sure that you're protecting your personal information, because that information put together can be used to figure things out in ways to either get into your online banking or to pretend to be you and then do something that you didn't authorize, like, say, applying for a loan without your permission. The information types that we're talking about are things like your online banking logins, your social security number, your address, your account numbers, your debit card number, your debit card PIN. Especially don't give that out, even if you have a friend that wants to use your debit card just that one time, protect it. Other website logins, because people could extrapolate your login for your online banking from a login somewhere else, especially if you use the same password all the time, which is not recommended. And also the security questions that you know the answers to for your online banking. And then finally, even your phone number, your email address, and your social media account information. Some of the tips for protecting those is, first, especially with your social security number and your PIN number, commit those to memory. Don't write them down. Some people carry their PIN number and their social security number around in their wallet. Can you imagine what people could do with that information if they found your wallet? So just don't write those down. Memorize them. You're going to have to know your social security number your entire life, so you may as well memorize it early. Other things that you can do with the important information is to lock it in a safe, record it in a computer program that has specific securities to lock it down, shredding any papers that you have written that information on when you're done with it, and never share the information with people that don't need it for a legitimate purpose. So don't give a social security number out to someone unless it's someone like an employer or someone that you're borrowing money from at a financial institution, because they need that to pull your credit. Keep your account numbers from other people unless they're a legitimate business that you're setting up an electronic bill for or something like that. And if someone ever asks you for this information and you're not even sure if they're really who they say they are, or if you have any concerns about their reasoning for needing the information, hang up and call the company directly by finding their information online instead of whatever contact information they gave you, because you want to make sure that they're not telling you that they're from a certain company and they're lying. So look them up online and call them directly and ask if you have been contacted for a certain purpose, and make sure that it's a legitimate reason for giving out the information. The other thing you want to do is secure your checkbook. It's amazing the kinds of things that people can use the information from your checkbook for. Your checkbook has everything in it. Your account number, your address, sometimes your phone number. So just make sure that you're protecting your checks as well. And then finally, when you do share those pieces of information, make sure that you're doing it through a secure system. And then if you're sending it electronically, use secure services or an encryption service. Don't send it through email, because email can be very easily compromised. Another pro tip, even though you want to protect all your addresses, you might want to keep your old addresses handy, like an encrypted document, because you will get asked where you've lived before often to verify your identity. So just keep that in a place where you can access it, but it's still secure.
That's awesome. Thank you. So let me put a quick scenario. For example, let's suppose that when I move out of my parents' basement and my landlord wants to run a background check on me, and they're like, hey, can you text me your social security number? Would that be okay?
Absolutely not. Again, that's not a secure service. If they're a local company, maybe just go directly down there and then write it down for them so that you know that's the company that you're working with.
Right. Awesome. So what is another pro tip that you can give young people to stay on top of their finances and make sure that they're not becoming victims of fraud without even knowing?
So another pro tip is to make sure that you're checking on your credit regularly. You may think, oh, I've never gotten a loan before, so why does it matter what my credit score looks like or what my credit looks like? But you might be surprised how many people I've met who have actually had their identity stolen before they even turned 18. So it's very important to be checking on your credit report regularly. And the law says that you have the ability to do that once a year for each large credit bureau. The credit bureaus that are the major ones in the United States are TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. So you have the ability to pull your credit report from each of those companies once a year. One of the things the experts recommend is to actually pull a credit report from one company, wait 4 months, and then pull from the second company, and then wait 4 months and pull from the third company. So that way you're getting your credit report at least every 4 months. The other thing you can do is you can sign up for services that will allow you to monitor your credit and give you information about what's going on with your credit report. Sometimes those cost money, but a lot of financial institutions are starting to offer those services for free. In fact, my credit union will allow you to pull your credit from TransUnion for free, and you even get your score, which you can't get your score when you pull it for free from annualcreditreport.com, which is the government website that allows you to pull your credit for free. So the thing that you might want to do is consider opening an account with a bank that offers that free monitoring service for you. The only thing is that if you are using those services, a lot of times they only pull from one credit bureau. So just make sure that you're checking on the other credit bureaus regularly as well.
Right, and I'll leave a link on the video description as well to annualcreditreport.com so you guys can have access to that. Now, any other final tips for our youngsters that are watching?
My final tip is that I'd really like to tell you a story because it's amazing how crafty fraudsters can be. I met a young woman recently who met a fraudster on Snapchat. The fraudster sent her an email with an image of the front and back of a check and asked her to deposit it into her account. Now, what they told her to do was to print the check out and then take pictures of it with her online banking app. So the fraudster didn't actually have to get access to her online banking, but they convinced her to deposit this check into her account with her mobile banking app. And in fact, it was 3 checks that added up to almost $5,000. The problem with that is that those checks were fake. So they weren't worth anything. But then when she deposited them into her account, the fraudster said, "Oh wait, I paid you too much. I need you to send back some of that money by going to Walmart and buying gift cards and then telling me what those gift card numbers are." By doing that, she actually gave them money that she didn't already have because the checks were fake. And so then what happened is that she took that money out of her account, even though it was credited to her account already, gave it to the fraudsters, and then when the checks came back as fake, she owes that money back to her credit union. So she owes her credit union $5,000 just because she got stuck into this fraud situation. It's a really sad situation, and I wouldn't want any of you guys to experience this. So whatever you do, make sure that you're watching out for the red flags that we mentioned, and in particular, if you have any concerns about anything that you're being told to do or people are asking you for, make sure that you're talking to responsible adults that you trust in your life. And you can even go to your credit union and tell them the story, and they'll tell you how to protect yourself because they're looking out for you too. So if you ever get asked to send back money from a situation where someone sent you money, don't do it. Talk to your financial institution and your parents first. If you ever get bad vibes or feel like anything's sketchy, just make sure that you're protecting yourself by stopping and thinking about it and asking questions and making sure that you're telling people around you that know more what's going on so that they can help protect you.
Wow, I got chills listening to the story. Like, that is $5,000? That's insane. Especially for somebody that young who may not even be making that much money just yet, you know? So, wow. Guys, watch out.
Right?
That's very sad. Well, thank you so much for your time, Judy. Thank you so much for helping us understand that, unfortunately, you know, there are bad people out there trying to take advantage of us, and that we have to be proactive, you know, when it comes to protecting ourselves from those kind of people, because it sucks to be a part of that. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. It's been my pleasure.
So here we go, y'all. We are done with lesson 1. Woot woot! I really hope you learned a lot about the banking world and what to expect and what to watch out for when you start making money and start moving it through different accounts. We also learned about how to borrow money wisely, whether it be a credit card or a loan. And now you also know the difference between the two. So let's dive into lesson 2, shall we? Coming up next, we'll talk about making that money. Let's talk about income and employment. I'll see you there.